Since we're on the subject of creating duplicates or copies of your objects and shapes here in Corel, let's take a moment and talk about a command inside Corel called step and repeat. Go ahead and select your object. Once again, whatever that object might be, it doesn't really matter what kind of an object you have, a shape like I have here, or some text, or a group, or whatever you have, select it there, and then head up to the edit menu, and then look for a command called step and repeat. And once again, there's your keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-D. Go ahead and choose step and repeat. Now, what's cool about step and repeat is he's actually a Docker here inside Corel. So what we have here is the floating Docker window. At the very top, we have the number of copies. So how many copies do I want to create here? Well, let's say, for example, I want to create 4 copies. You can either use the arrows there on the right, or you can type in a value. It doesn't really matter. And then what we have is the horizontal settings, offset. There's the distance, 1/4 of an inch. And then vertical settings, offset, and then there's the offset distance, again, 1/4 of an inch. These are all the default settings, by the way. Let's give it a try and see what we get. I'm going to click on apply. And what I get, I'll just scroll up here a little bit, is I get 4 copies of my shape, and they're all spaced apart horizontally and vertically by 1/4 of an inch. Awesome stuff. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to undo that because I want to show you a couple of cool things that you can do with the step and repeat Docker. So rather than selecting and deleting all my shapes, I think what I'll do is I'll just hit undo here on my toolbar to start all over again here. And maybe what I'll do is I'll scroll down again, so we're just sort of going back to where we were. Now what I can do here, of course, is I can go and change the horizontal and vertical offset. No big deal, right? All that would be is increasing the horizontal and vertical space between all of my copies, right? So easy stuff. But another thing that I can do, both underneath the horizontal settings and the vertical settings, is I can drop down this menu and I can say no offset. So what that would mean is I would get all of my copies directly on top of one another, or maybe I could space them out vertically by using a vertical offset value or something like this. So in other words, horizontal has no offset, but vertical does, right? Or what I could do is I could say spacing between objects. So what I could do, for example, is I could say, all right, I want to space apart my objects by 1/4 of an inch. The direction I'm going in is right, and I'll do the same for vertical. I'll say distance between objects. I'll keep the default there, 1/4 inch, and I want to go down, and then I'll click on this apply button. And now I wind up with something like this. Let me just minimize my Docker here. There's my copies, all kind of spaced apart all the way down my interface here, all the way down my document. Actually, right off the edge of my document, I should say. But in any regard, there's your step and repeat, a very handy Docker to use here inside CorelDRAW.
To change your